What's up, good people? It's your boy CJ Randolph, and this is the Just the Messenger podcast, where we're just here to just spread the message of love, hope, joy, and peace, and try to change the world with one message at a time. And we have a special messenger here, yet again, second time on the potty. Gonna drop some wisdom on down from us, for us, and that we can go ahead and spread that wisdom out to the rest of the world. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Mr. Carl Nessa Randolph back to the potty.
Back to the potty. Thank you. Appreciate that. Well, I'll tell you what, today, you know, when you said would you like to do another one, I said, well, I don't mind. But so today, folks, I'm going to just tell you, first of all, let's do this. Why don't you grab a piece of paper and a pencil? Because I definitely would encourage you to take notes today, because I'm just going to talk about some of the things that I did on setting goals, and how I got to be able to do some of the goals that I wanted to do and hit based on some of the things I learned in life. And so I definitely would encourage you to grab a piece of paper and pencil. Piece of paper and pencil. Yeah, that's right.
You're right. You're right.
Sure, I was right. And take some notes, because theoretically, your brain doesn't comprehend it all. It won't retain everything at one time. Right. You remember so many things, but the dog can bark, you can hear another noise, and then your brain wave doesn't hear what just happened. And so that's why it's crucial to write it down, so you can retain a lot more, because you can go back and look at your notes. Plus, they're your notes in your writing, right. So that makes it even better. Yeah, but
So what I heard with that real fast is distractions. Small distractions, big distractions can curve your learning ability, but to make sure that you comprehend everything is that you write it down.
Right, exactly. And then, like I say, in your own writing, because let's just say somebody's making a point, and then you hear the dog bark, and you kind of turn around. Just as that person was making just at that point, you missed it that quick, and your brain didn't comprehend it because they heard the dog over the point.
Right.
Just simple things like that, and people don't realize that. So if you have it, you can look at it and retain it. But there's just so many, CJ. There's so many ways you can get inspiration, motivation, and what have you through pastors, a sermon, TED Talks. You got inspirational, motivational YouTube videos. You got audio books, you got just a slew of different things, especially now with all the advent of the digital world and AI and all this stuff. So, but in my opinion, like I say, everything today I'm going to talk about just my personal opinion, right? My opinion, it's all still external. You can have coaching. Somebody can coach you, right? You can have a personal coach. Even Michael Jordan and these great folks had coaches, right? But in my opinion, it still has to come from internal rather, because all that is still external.
Oh, okay.
Coaching's external. Listen to a podcast is external.
Right.
Reading a book, or I think you can get more out of reading a book, because you can kind of comprehend what you feel what that sentence just said.
Right.
And let me make an example. So you read a passage, I read a passage. We may get two different things out of that same passage. Right. Based on where you are in life, what you've been through, what's going on in your life. I may read something, it doesn't even faze me, because I may have either experienced it before, or maybe going through some kind of turmoil right now that would help me.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think reading is more important than just listening, but a lot of people like to listen.
Yeah.
But I still think it's all external. So what I want to talk about a little bit today is how you can do it internal.
Yeah.
How do you do it internal? The first thing, you have to believe in yourself. Now, see, there's a difference between arrogance and confidence. Arrogance is saying, hey, look, I'm better than you. I'm better than anybody else. I'm whatever. I'm on this pedestal. Confidence is saying, I'm confident that I can do what I set out to do. Right? I'll tell you a quick frog story. There was a frog. He was in a bucket, and there was a bunch of frogs around the top. And they were just hollering and making noise. You can't do it. And he was trying to jump to get out this bucket. And he was jumping up, and he was missing it. And they were just saying, "Oh, you'll never get out. You don't have enough jumping speed, jumping, what have you, ability to get up to the top." This little frog just kept trying. All of a sudden, he got one frog finger on the top. And then he put the other one up there and pulled himself over. And then the frog went up to him and said, "Man, they were talking down you, telling you couldn't do it, negative, and what have you." And the frog just did some sign language. And he's like, "Oh, I really can't hear. I thought they was encouraging me. you know. So, you know.
Here's an interesting thing. I thought I've heard every single story that he has. I've never heard that one. Well done. Thank you.
All right. Well, good. But anyway, so the frog was like, I thought y'all was encouraging me.
Right.
Now, we do all want encouragement. We all do need encouragement. But once you find that thing that you like, that's something that you say, okay, look, and some of us don't know what it is, but if you know what it is, you say, look, this just, it stays with me all the time. I think about it all the time. I just want to be an artist or a musician or whatever it is. And it just stays with me. You know, somebody may want you to do this, be a lawyer or a doctor, but you may want to be a musician, right?
Right.
If it just stays with you and just stays with you, focus on that. But what I've done, what I try to do is, I'll take a notebook and I just write down. Let's just say I'm gonna help you do the top 3 goals this year. Right. Let's say you want to do the top 3 goals this year. Just sit down, put on some nice music, take all the distractions, right? The cell phone, the YouTube, the Facebook, turn all that off. Right. Turn that distraction off. Matter of fact, be honest with you, about 80% of the time, I don't even have my cell phone anymore. That's why I tell y'all to call your mom. Because a lot of times, I won't even have my cell phone. I put it in the other room. I put it somewhere else. A lot of times, if me and your mom somewhere, I don't even take my phone with me, right? That's just me personally. But get all the distraction out the way. Get some music. Maybe have a cup of wine or something, or tea or coffee, whatever your beverage is. And just get in a quiet space. Get in a room and just write down. Write down every goal you can think of. I don't care what it is, small, big, everything that you want in life, every goal. Just take your time. Just write it all down as many times, 100 things, 200, whatever. Yeah. Put as much as there you want there, right? Wait about another day or so and do the same thing. But take that same list, CJ, and I want you to take that list. I want you to narrow it down to the top 10 things. Top 10. Okay, these are the top 10 things. If I look at all this on my list, these are the top 10s I want, right? Yes. Wait about maybe a day or two. Then pull that top 10 out and narrow it down to top 3. So, okay, this year, these are the top 3 things I want to accomplish. I want to do. I want to learn. I want to study. I want to, get a coach. I want to look at YouTube videos, DVD, whatever it is, right? But these are the top 3 things. And then you just focus on those top 3 things for that year, right? You can even go even deeper if you want to, but that's not today. But you can take those top 3 things and then even go even deeper. Okay, what I need to do to accomplish this first one? Right. Do I need to get up and listen to tapes? Do I need to do devotion? Right. Do I need to get to a certain church? Do I need to find me a certain coach? Do I need to get myself around certain people? Do I, and even go into deeper? But at least those top 3 things, everything you do should be doing to represent those 3 things that you want to accomplish that year. Right. And you can't let other people influence you and tell you what not to do. Now, of course, I'm hoping and I pray it's something that's legal and ethical and doesn't break any of God's laws, right? That's what I'm talking about. But you want to find people that want to encourage you, not discourage you. Right. You want to find people who will say, yes, you can do. Not, no, you can't do that. You're too short. You're too heavy. You're too this. You're too that.
Mm-hmm.
You're
too short, whatever.
Right. Yeah, I know that's a big thing. Hey, trust me, I had that short man syndrome when I was little myself. But I remember here's a funny story, and this just popped in my mind. Folks, you just never know. My dad was military, so everywhere we moved on a military base somewhere, everywhere we moved, the first thing I would do, I would run and find out where's the football, who's playing football. Right. And I'll tell you, I remember seeing a parallel in your life. Right. I go and they go, I say, hey, I'm Carl. I'm the new kid here. I was never shy, so it didn't matter to me. I just wanted to play. And so they'd be like, oh, man, this guy's short or whatever. I would be the last one to be picked every single time we moved, 100% of the time, only for one game. Because I would tell the guy, I said, look, I tell you what, man, how far can you throw it? Can you throw it as far as that lamppost? And well, I don't know. Can you get it that far? Yeah, I think. I said, just throw it to that lamppost as far as you can. And almost every time, boom, touchdown. Or every game, I intercept, running all the way back because I was fast. I remember we was in Millers Point. Same thing. I watched all the kids picked everybody, and the guy was like, okay, well, you come on then. Because you were the shortest one there. Boom, I think within 5 minutes of the game, interception, you ran it back or something. Yep. And the next day, everybody wanted to pick CJ.
Yeah, so I was a little petty back in the day. Mm-hmm. So they used to always kind of have like the same type of captains. And then the next day, they wanted to pick me first. Mm-hmm. But oh boy, that didn't pick me. Yeah, he tried to pick me first. I was like, nah, I'm gonna play on the other team because I wanted to beat him.
Right.
And I beat him every single time.
Well,
until we became friends, and he realized, don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah. Every single time I did the same thing. Every time we moved somewhere, first football game, I was the last one to be picked every time. But within a couple of minutes of the game, I made a touchdown or something because I was fast. But anyway, so you have to find something internal. Like I say, you want to be confident, not arrogant. Like I say, arrogant is like I'm better than anybody else. I'm over you. You're down. No, I'm just confident that I know if I can play, if you let me play, I'm going to get an interception. I'll be able to catch the ball or something.
Give me an opportunity.
Right, give me an opportunity, exactly. And so, you know, we all, and I hate to say this, but it's true. We all have a day that we're going to be gone from this earth.
Right.
I mean, you know, you have a day where you were born and a day when you pass. But in between that, on most people, there's a dash, right? Between the day you were born and then the day that you pass. Well, let's dash. Let's talk a little bit about that dash. I just want to kind of, I guess the message today is, what would you do with that? What did you do with that dash?
Right.
Right? What did you do with that dash? You said, well, I really couldn't do much, or I this, or I that, or what was me. But here's the key, folks. All of us have something inside of us. We're all winners. There's something we can all do, right? And I explained a little bit earlier about how to maybe set the goals, getting around encouraging people, getting around encouraging information. It's all there. I mean, there's plenty of it there, CJ, right? And so I believe we can encourage people with just a smile. I remember on your podcast you talked about that. We can encourage people with just a hello, how you doing, how you feeling, what have you.
Right.
Well, you know, you seem like you're a little bit down. Just want to let you know. I have a picture on my phone that I look at all the time. And the caption of it says, I complained I had no shoes till I met a man that had no feet.
Right.
And so I got a picture. I got my hand on the shoulder of a guy who has no legs. He was in a car accident and got both his legs amputated.
Yeah.
And I asked him, do you mind me taking a picture? And he said, sure. And then I said, this picture, I look at all the time. Anytime somebody just, I just had a flat tire and blah, 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 woe is me, I'll just usually show them that picture.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, the caption is, I complained I had no shoes till I met a man that had no feet. And so that's kind of the way I try to live my life. I try to live my life in a way where I try to encourage people. I try to help people to whatever I can. But matter of fact, that brings up another. Let me tell you, I don't know if you heard this one, but there was two men in the hospital.
Okay.
And this one guy, he was blind, and he was on one side of the room. Yeah. There was another guy. Let's call him Earl. Earl was on the other side of the room, and every day he would tell him stories about looking out the window, looking down at this park area, right? And he's like, hey, there's kids playing out there. There's people with balloons out there, and he's like, and the other guy is just like, oh man. You know, he said the wind is just blowing from the window, and the guy's like, oh man, what I would do to feel that wind just blowing on my chest. And so he said, oh look, oh man, looks like he's getting ready to propose. Oh he is? He's like, yeah, look, he's down on his knee. And the guy's like, what's he doing? He said he's down on his knee. Did she say yes? He says, I don't know, hold on. Oh yeah, she said yes. Yeah. Everybody's clapping. People in the park, dogs are barking, and everybody's clapping. And looks like she said yes. He's grabbed her, he swung her around, and then the guy started choking. And so he grabbed his beeper. Yeah. Beeper. Right. And called a nurse. The nurse would come because he had something that was wrong with his throat. Well, anyway, so one night, the guy was just sitting there thinking, man, I sure would love to get to that window, right? And the guy would tell him all these stories about people in the park every day. And he was just so excited. He was blind, and he couldn't hardly get out of bed, right? And so one night, the guy started choking. He was choking. He went to grab his beeper, but it fell on the floor. Yeah. And so he couldn't get it. So the other guy grabbed his beeper, was getting ready to press that button, and he thought about, man, I sure would like to have that wind on my chest, man. I sure would wonder how that feel. And the guy was choking, man. Hey, call the nurse. And he was choking, and he just put the beeper down, man. The guy passed away. So the next morning, the nurse came in, and he's like, man, I just want to feel that wind. I can't see, but I want to just, be able to see what's going hear what's in the park. Yeah. And so he said, ma'am, could you do me a favor? I know he passed away. Can you move my bed over there or move me into that bed? by the window. And she said, well, sure. So she pushed the bed over there. He said, now, can you just do me one big favor? Can you open the window and just tell me what you see in the park? And she says, the park? He says, yeah. He says, oh, they built another hospital in the back of this wing, so this window, there's nothing but bricks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I want you to let that soak in. Nothing but bricks, man. So even though they were both in the hospital, even though he couldn't see or hear, the guy at least tried to encourage him and give him something in his life.
Right.
I think we can all do that. We can all, like you said on your other message, where we can give a smile away, we can give a handshake away, we can give a little donation here or there, whatever we can afford.
Right.
We can always do something to encourage somebody. And so,
that is true, but then we can also be the other dude, the blind dude.
Right.
And we can also take away life.
Exactly.
With our words and our actions and how we treat others.
Right.
And so that's, it's been very interesting. A lot of times, I've heard it before, but it seems to be a little bit more prominent of like when we are in church and we're listening to a scripture or a Bible story, we always put ourselves as the hero when in fact, we're never that person. Like
wow.
the story of David and Goliath, a lot of times we like to put ourselves as David when we wouldn't do that. We're more like the shoulders that are scared of Goliath, or like Saul that's scared and sends the soldiers to do this, or sometimes we're Goliath.
Right.
And it's like, oh, we got to check ourselves to really understand, are we bringing life to people or trying to drain life from them? And that's a great example of that.
Wow. So definitely, hopefully you took some notes on that. But sometimes, even the smallest things, this guy was encouraging him every day. He was happy, but he just wanted to feel that wind on him. He wanted to feel that wind. But so those are some. We can encourage somebody in some way, some fashion. But you also got to be careful on the flip side of that,
right?
Because sometimes some people want to be in a sorrow. Sometimes because that's the way they get. Get attention is by being late all the time, or being woe is me, or my car, or this or that. So you kind of gotta gear it and be careful of that. So if a person is also draining you, even spiritually, someone can drain you spiritually with all their problems over and over and over. You have to have somewhere in your life where you say, okay, here's where I draw the line. If you come back, here's some advice. If they don't take that advice first or second time, you got to figure out some kind of way to just let them go.
Right.
I mean, it's that simple. I know that sounds harsh, but if you're focused on somewhere you're going, it's hard to go somewhere when you're carrying a lot of luggage with you. Right? When you're carrying a lot of baggage and luggage that you, even from the past. We've all, had ups and downs. Right. I mean, we had a real estate deal, I'm a big risk taker.
We would be millionaires right now.
Possibly could be multi-millionaires right now with some of the deals I was involved with and what have you. But here's the key, though. Every deal or anything I ever done, I always looked at how can it help the family?
Right.
And is it something positive, something that's I'm going to have to, not close my eyes and go to sleep at night worrying about what's going to happen or what have you. We had one deal where me and several friends, and probably watching this video, will be able to, this podcast will probably relate. We lost like way over $500,000, right? It took me 10 years from 2014 to 2024 for me to pay my portion of that back.
Right.
But some people got greedy and basically ripped us off. You kind of understand. But I paid every dime back.
If I see you in the street, it's on Papa.
No, but I paid every dime back to the bank, right? Took a long time, and it was a nice chunk of change every month out of our check, right? But my integrity and doing things right was more important than that money every month going out. And so, I look back and I think, we could have had another house. We could have had something else. We could have had a new car or what have you. We could have traveled even more, right? But the integrity of paying it back was more important. Yeah. Even though I do think, y'all guys had a decent, upbringing. You had a rough life?
A wonderful
life. I thought you said rough life. But, we didn't have all the money in the world, but we saved up for things and so forth, so on, And so, but anyway, but the key, my point is, what did you do with that dash?
Right.
From the time that you were born and the time that the Lord, if you're Christian or believer, the Lord took you. What did you do with that dash? Did you encourage people? Did you bring people to Christ? Did you help people, uplift them a little bit?
Yeah.
Did you just help people get to another stage? Did you maybe, we've done stuff financially to people no one even know. I remember somebody told you, we won't get into that, but somebody came up to you and told you, hey, your mom and dad helped me at a bad time. And they actually sent me a nice little Christmas present about a year or so ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in the mail.
Yeah.
Right? So you never know,
Yeah.
right? And so can you encourage, I don't mean, you may not have all the money to give to people, but shoot, a couple extra dollars here and there could have helped somebody at that particular time who was hungry or something. So what I'm saying is all of us can encourage people. All of us can do something with that dash. So when you look back, and people talk about you, what are they going to say about that dash?
Right.
So the message, I guess, today is, folks, what did you do with that dash? For those of you who listen, of course, you're still here, but is there something you can do? There's some new goals you can set. Is there some new things that you want to do? I know your last podcast, you talked about, getting out your comfort zone and so forth, so on, right? And so if there's something out there, if I can encourage you today, if there's something that you want to do, as long as you got breath, you still can do it.
Right.
As long as you wake up every morning, you still can do it. And here's my last point. Here's what I would encourage you to do. I'm not telling anybody to do anything. I'm just saying my point of view.
Right.
Every morning when you wake up, here's what I would encourage you to do. Just say, what am I grateful for today? Just one thing.
Yes.
What am I grateful for today? One gratitude thing. Just one. Every morning starting tomorrow morning. Just say, okay, what am I grateful for? Well, it could be, I don't even like my job, but I'm grateful for it because it puts a roof over my family's house, and we're able to eat, right?
Right.
And we can drive a halfway decent car, but it gets me to A and B, right?
Yeah.
It could be your spouse, your kids, anything. It could be something so small as I have feet, right? I have hands, I have a mouth I can eat with. I can see today, right?
Right.
Just one thing every day. I would like you to just say, what am I grateful for? What am I grateful for? And if you do that, I think that dot, you'll be talked about after.
Yeah, that dash.
That dash, sorry, not the dot.
Yeah. Well, there it is, everybody. Dropping messages for everybody about your dash. And I love the fact, how you put it in perspective. Like, you're born, you have a dash, and then you pass. And that's reality, right?
Mm-hmm.
The moment that we are born, it's the moment that we are living a full life, and sometimes people's full lives are less than the average, or it's more than an average, or it's unfortunate of situations and environments, or the endless possibilities that is. But when you do have a option and a choice, what are you doing with that? Are you fulfilling your goals? Are you fulfilling your dreams? Are you using your talents and your gifts to also help others? So don't be selfish with it. We weren't created to be like that. We were created to be community with each other. We were created, even us introverts, or those introverts. I'm introverted sometimes, but there's still points that in contact with people, we can help. So go help. And go spread those messages of love, joy, peace, and of hope with a simple smile, holding a door open, saying hi, letting people know that you see them, right? This is the Just the Messenger podcast. Let's change the message. Let's change the world one message at a time. Until next time, Selah.